Hello students, in this session we will discuss about the classes and functions. Now we know how to create new types or programmer defined types. Okay, the next step is to write functions that take programmer defined object as parameter and return them as result. Though Python is object oriented programming language, it is possible to use it as functional programming. Now, what is functional programming? Functional programming is a coding style that focuses on defining what to do instead of performing some action. There are two types of functions. One is the pure function and second one is the modifier. A pure function takes object as arguments and does some work without modifying any of the original argument. Modifier function modifies the original argument. Okay, first we will discuss about the pure function. To understand the concept of pure function, let us consider an example of creating a class called time. Initially here we are creating the class time and that is the empty string, empty class, that means that contains the one doc string, and this class, an object of the class time, contains hours, minutes and seconds. Okay, here time, that is the class, again time, that is object created for that particular class, that contains three attributes, hour, minute and seconds. Again this class that contains two functions, one is the print time function, again second one is the add time function. Print time function print the time in hour, minute and second format. Add time function, it will take two time objects, that is t1 and t2, and it will add that to times, that is hour, minutes and seconds. While adding two time objects, it should yield the proper result. So we need to check whether number of seconds exceeds 60 or whether number of minutes exceeds 60. Suppose if that is the case, in code we have to take proper action. Okay, for example, suppose second is greater than or equal to 60. What you have to do? We have to make the second equal to 0 by subtracting 60, and we have to increment the minute by 1. Again, suppose if minute is greater than 60, decrement the minute by 60, that means make that minute equal to 0. Again increment the hour by 1. Here the function add time takes two arguments of type time and returns a time object. Okay, here we are returning the sum, whereas it is not modifying the contents of its argument t1 and t2. Such functions are called as pure function. Okay, here after that function definition, we are creating the object for time class, that is t1, then initialize the attributes hour, minutes and seconds and print the content of t1 object. Again create one more object t2, initialize the hour, minute and second, again print that values. After that call the add time function. It will add the content of object attributes of t1, again t2 attributes, and finally it will store the result in another object t3. After adding, print the value of t3. Okay, here we have the output. Time 1 is 10:34:25 hour, minute and second. Again time 2 2:12:41 hour, minutes and seconds. And finally after adding you will get the time 12:47:06, that is in the object t3. Okay, now we will discuss about the modifiers. What is modifier? Sometimes it is necessary to modify the underlying arguments, and that has to reflect to the caller. That is, arguments have to be modified inside a function and those modifications should be available to the caller. The function that performs such modifications are known as modifier functions. For example, assume that we need to add few seconds to the time object, and we have to get a new time. Okay, in this function, initially we are adding the argument seconds to t dot seconds. That is second, there is some new value that we are adding to the object attribute second. After that, we are checking whether second is exceeding 60, again whether minute is exceeding 60. Now there is a chance that t dot second is exceeding 60, so we will increment the minute counter till t dot second becomes lesser than 60. Similarly, till the t dot minute becomes lesser than 60, we will decrement the minute counter. Okay, here we can note that the modification is done on the argument t itself. Time dot second equal to plus or equal to seconds. Okay, here we are that modification is done on the argument t. Thus, the above function is example for the modifier. Okay, next we will discuss about the prototyping versus planning. Whenever we do not know the complete problem statement, we may write the program initially and then keep on modifying it as and when a requirement changes or problem definition changes. This methodology is known as prototype and patch. That is, first design the prototype based on the information available and then perform patchwork as and when extra information is gathered. But this type of incremental development may end up in unnecessary code with many special cases and it may be unreliable. So here we can use different design development in which high level insight into the problem can make the programming much easier. Okay, here one approach, and just take the previous example only. We can convert the time object to integer and take advantage of the fact that computer knows how to do the integer arithmetic. And function that converts an integer to time. Okay, here what we are doing is, what I am trying to say is, okay, suppose in that incremental development, if you use the prototyping versus patching technique, okay, and that may be end up with the unnecessary code and in many cases that may be unreliable. So what we have to do is we can use some techniques. Under that one technique, okay, here we are reading the time, hour and minutes from user. After that, what you have to do is just convert that time to integer. And here we are just assuming that computer knows how to do the integer arithmetic. Perform that operations. Then again we have another function int to time, that is convert that integer to time. Here while converting the integer to time, we are using one method, that is the divmod method. It divides the first argument. Here we have the minutes comma time dot seconds. Okay, so here it divides the first argument by the second and returns the quotient and the remainder as a tuple. By using this particular technique, you can just implement the concept of prototyping and patching. Okay, here definition for the add time function. It will take two objects t1 and t2. Okay, here while adding, before adding, convert the time to integer. Again that is of t1 object. Again for the t2 object also convert that to the integer. After getting the seconds, while returning the value, again convert that into to time. Convert that integer to time format that contains. Now we will discuss about the classes and methods. The classes that have been considered till now were just empty classes without having any definition. But in true object-oriented programming, a class contains class-level attributes, instance-level attributes, and methods. There is a tight relationship between programmer-defined types and the functions that operate on them. Python is object-oriented programming language, which means that it provides features that support object-oriented programming. Okay, it has some characteristics. Under that first one, programs include class and method definitions. Second one, most of the computation is expressed in terms of operations on object. And third one, object often represents things in the real world, and methods often correspond to the ways objects in the real world interact. To establish a relationship between the object of the class and a function, we must define a function as a member of the class. Functions which is associated with a particular class is known as method. Methods are semantically same as functions, but there are two syntactic differences. First one, methods are defined inside a class definition in order to make the relationship between the class and the method explicit. And second one, the syntax for invoking a method is different from the syntax for calling a function. Okay, we will discuss that two methods. Okay, here in this particular example, we have the function print time. Okay, that print time function that taking one argument, that is the object. We have to pass a time object as an argument to call the print time function. Again, this print time function, it is displaying the time in hour, minute and second format. To call this function, we have to pass the time object as an argument. So first create the object for the time class, initialize 3 data member of that particular class, that is hour, minute and second. Then make a call, print time, then start. Okay, it will display the time in hour, minute and second format. Okay, this is about the function. Now to make print time a method, what we have to do is move that function definition inside the class definition. Okay, now while moving the function definition inside the class, what we have to do is we have to follow the indentation. Okay, that is one important point. We have to follow the indentation. Here we have the print time method that's inside the class. Again, here also we are performing the same operation. We are printing hour, minute and second. Now how we can call this function? Okay, we can call this method in two ways. First way, that is time dot print underscore time, then pass the object as the parameter. Okay, in this method uses the dot notation. Time is the name of the class and print time is the name of the method. Start is the object passed as a parameter. And second method, start dot print time. Okay, this method also uses this dot notation. Print time is the name of the method. Start is the object the method is invoked on. Okay, that is start, that is the object created for that particular class. Using that object, we are invoking the method print time. Okay, now this start we can call as the subject. Okay, in English statement or in English sentence, subject is what the subject that referred to what the sentence is about. Okay, same way in method, the subject of the method invocation is what the method is about. Okay, what the method is about, that you can represent using the subject. Okay, here in this particular example, start, that object you can call as the subject. Okay, now we have to keep in mind that every method of any class must have a first argument as self. The argument self is a reference to the current object. Okay, that is, it is reference to the object which invoke the method. Okay, we can relate this self statement to the pointer or this pointer that is used in some other programming language like C++ or Java. The object which invokes a method is also known as subject. Okay, here in this particular example, instead of passing the object name as the parameter, we are passing the self, keyword self. Self means reference to the current object. Okay, here we have one example. Okay, we are discussing the time class. Okay, here in this time class we have the method increment. For that increment method we are passing two parameters. First parameter, okay, in this increment method what we are doing is we are just incrementing the second. We are passing two parameters. First one is the self and second one is the second. And again we are assuming that already we have the method time to int. We are just calling that method. Okay, this function assume that time to int is written as a method, and also note that it is a pure function, not a modifier. So this is the function definition. In function call we are giving the statement like start dot print time. It will print the current time, or we have another call end equal to start dot increment 1337. Okay, here in this particular call the subject start gets assigned to the first parameter, that is self, that is the reference to the current object, right? So start, that is refer to that self keyword, and the argument 1337 that gets assigned to the second parameter seconds. Start refer to the self, again seconds, or here 1337 that refer to the seconds. Okay, suppose if you write like this, end equal to start dot increment, then inside the bracket suppose if we give 1337 comma 460. Okay, in this particular case it will generate the error message. Why error message? Okay, in this function definition, first parameter, that is the self, so that self that should refer to the object. But here in this function call we are passing two parameters, that is two integer values, so it will generate the error message. Okay, next we will discuss one method, that is the init method. Python provides a special method called as init, which is similar to the constructor method in other programming language like C++ or Java. The term init indicates initialization. As the name suggests, this method is invoked automatically when the object of a class is created. And the full name of that init, that is underscore underscore init underscore underscore, two underscore characters followed by init and then two more underscores. For example, how we can define that init method? Again, that is inside the class, that is method, so we have to follow the indentation. So here also we have to assign the values for the object. Again, that object is having three instance variables, that is hour, minute and seconds. We have to initialize that values. So inside the init method we are passing three parameters are minutes and second. Again we are passing the self parameter. First parameter, that is the self, means that is pointing to the current object. So here we have self dot or self dot minute, again self dot second. Self means that is pointing to the current object. Okay, another method, that is the string method. It is a special method used for string representation of user defined object. The str method will return the string format what we have given inside it, and string will be printed by the print method. For example, here we have the definition for the str method. Again here 2 underscore, then str, then again 2 underscore. Okay, here we are passing the parameter self. Okay, now this method, it will return the string format of that are minute and second. Okay, now on that print function, here we are creating one object for the time class, and we are initializing the hour, minute and second. Okay, now this print function, it will take the values from the str method, returned value from the str method, and it will print that time in hour, minute and second format. str method will return the string format what we have given inside it, and string will be printed by the print method. That particular string is printed by the print method. Now we will discuss one program related to that init and str method. So here we are taking the point class. In this particular program, what we are doing is we are calculating the distance between two coordinate points. Okay, that coordinate point, each coordinate point is having the x and y value. Okay, to implement this, okay, we are using three methods: init method, distance method, again str method. Okay, init method, that is used to initialize the x and y value. Distance method, that is used to calculate the distance between two endpoints, that is x and y. Again another endpoint x and y. Again str method, that is used to display the result after calculating the distance, or after taking the end points, you can just display the end points as it is. P1 end point, again P2 end point. Okay, to display that particular end points or to display the result, we are using the str method. Okay, here we have the statement P1 equal to point of 10, 20. Okay, in this, while executing this statement, it will call the init method automatically. The internal meaning is P1 dot init of 10, 20. And here P1 is the object which is invoking a method. Hence, reference to this object is created and passed to the init method as self. Okay, here in the init method, we have the parameter. We have three parameters. First one is the self, and second is a equal to 0, again b equal to 0. The values 10 and 20 are passed to the formal parameters a and b. Self dot x equal to a, again self dot y equal to b indicates x and y are instance attributes. The value of x for the object P1 is 10. The value of y for the object P1 is 20. Okay, self means that is pointing to the current object. Current object is P1 now. So x value of p1 that is 10, again x value of y value of p1 that is 20. Okay, again when we create another object p2, it will have its own set of x and y. Okay, then the method distance dist is an ordinary member method of the class point. Its first argument must be self. Okay, that is self comma p2. So here we have the call d equal to p1 dot dist of p2. A reference to the object p1 is passed as self to the dist method, and p2 is passed explicitly as a second argument. Okay, inside the dist method, we are calculating the distance between 2 point objects. In this method, we cannot use the name p1. Okay, we cannot use the name p1. Instead, we will use self, which is reference to p1, that is self dot x minus p2 dot x, means self means that is p1. Again here also self dot y minus p2 dot y, that p2 we are representing explicitly, p1 we are representing using the keyword self. So next method, that is the string method. It is special method for string representation of user defined object. Usually print is used for printing basic types in Python, but user defined types have their own meaning and a way of representation. When we write print in main part of the program, the str method will be invoked automatically. So here we have the statement, right? Print, inside the double quote we have p1 is, then comma p1, again one more statement p2 is, that is inside the double quote, then comma p2. The ordinary print method will print the portion that is p1 is. The remaining portion is taken care by the str method, that is p1, value of p1, that is taken care by the str method. In fact, str method will return the string format. Okay, here we are returning the self.x comma self.y, that means x and y value. Str method will return the string format what we have given inside it, and the string will be printed by the print method. It will return the x and y value that is printed by the print method. So it will print p1 is, then x comma y value, that may be 10 comma 20. That is str method, that is called automatically. Okay, so here output is p1 is 10 comma 20, again p2 is 4 comma 5. Distance after calculating the, after taking the object value of p1 and p2. Okay, next we will discuss about the operator overloading concept. What is operator overloading? Ability of an existing operator to work on user defined data type is known as operator overloading. Basic operator like plus, minus, multiplication, etc. can be overloaded. To overload an operator, one needs to write a method within user defined class. Python provides a special set of methods which have to be used for overloading required operator. Okay, for example, okay, here we are taking the time class and we are adding 2 times. So here we have the statement like start equal to time 9:45, again duration time, that is 1:35, then print start plus duration. It will add the value of time value of the start object, again time value of the duration object, start and duration, that is 2 objects created for the time class using the operator plus. Okay, here we are overloading the plus operator. Now to overload this particular plus operator, we have to write the special method add underscore underscore add underscore underscore. Okay, in this method we have to pass two parameters. First is the self, that is pointing to the current object. Again second one is the other, okay, that is the another object value that we have to pass explicitly. Okay, now here we are adding 2 seconds. So self dot time to int plus other dot time to int. Okay, here inside that we have the addition operation, addition related to the self, that is current object, again addition related to the other. So to overload the plus operator, here we have to use the method, special method add. Same way we have different special functions or special methods in Python. For the plus operation add, again for the minus operation we have to use the method subtract underscore underscore sub underscore underscore. Again for the multiplication, division, mod operation, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to, contains, length, string. Okay, all these are the special functions used in the Python. You can use these functions while overloading the operators. Okay, one simple example. Again we are taking the point class. Okay, here in this particular program what we are doing is we are adding two endpoints. Okay, so here we are adding two endpoints. So first create the object for p1. Again here this while creating the object, automatically it will call the init method to initialize the value of x and y. Again create one more object p2. Again here also it will call the init method. After that we have after reading the value endpoints, print that endpoints. For that we have the print statement p1 is p1. Okay, here in this particular call it will call the str method. It will return the x and y value in string format. Okay, after that we have the statement p4 equal to p1 plus p2. Okay, here we have the plus operator. We are overloading the plus operator. So this plus operator, it will call the method that is defined inside the class. Okay, that method is the add method. Special method add. Okay, here that add method, it will take two parameters, self and p2. Self, that is pointing to the current object, and p2. Again we are creating one more object inside the method definition, p3 equal to point. So self dot x plus p2 dot x, store that in the variable p3 dot x. Again self dot y means that is the p1 dot y plus p2 dot y, store that in p3 dot y and return the p3 value. Now this p3 value we are storing in another object p4 that contains x and y value. So finally it will print the sum is p4. Again while printing the value of p4 it will call the str method. Okay, thank you.